while the market is slow, not doing much in terms of price action, this seems to be really important.
Since the SEC filed their lawsuits against Ripple, we have signed dozens of new contracts with banks, with payment providers around the world, and I think only one here in the United States. The lawsuit effectively has stymied the United States customers. Like, well, if the SEC is doing this, and some of these are public companies, like, we're not going to touch this until there's resolution. That just puts us further behind.
If you are an XRP and you are like, okay, the price is not moving, then yes, we understand the price is not moving, and there is a good reason for that. But right now, the realm of crypto is really choppy. The movement here seems like, okay, we are moving up and down, It's nothing bulls. But if you really zoom on it, there's a Bitcoin chart, 4-hour chart. It shows you we are above this level of support. Now we are coming back down. Okay, fine. We have zoomed in. We're looking at that and we're like, okay, there is a lot of noise inside that. If you actually zoom out, keeping that same support level there, you kind of understand, like, okay, when we were actually falling to the downside, we got supported here. When we bounced, we got resisted there. Fine. So that actually gives you a support zone which you extend. Now, if you look at this, we broke above the 21-day moving average, which is a bullish signal. You came up, then you dropped down. Now, you dropped to the 21-day moving average on a 3-day chart, and it seems the price is slowly bouncing. So what are you looking at next? The next move of Bitcoin should come somewhere close to $25,000 near the 51 moving average. So if we are doing that, that kind of gives you the idea that, okay, fine, you hit the resistance here in the RSI. If you take a horizontal ray and drop it here, you see like the price is moving based on this, and as you hit the resistance in RSI, you slow down. So now the next level which you are looking for Bitcoin is to bounce from this trend line. So you are going to stay there for a couple of days, couple of candles in fact, and then move back higher. Fine. So on a daily chart, when you are looking at this system, I will like, okay, fine, I do get the point. On a 3-day chart, you're still here. We are breaking to the upside. You still have room to the 21-day moving average, which happens to be about 25. Now on a daily, your 50-day moving average is at 25, close to that, and on a 3-day, your 21-day moving average is close to that. If you are looking at each bounce, you go through these moving average zone and then come back. So even if you are saying that we're going to go back, chances are you're going to go test 35 before you do that. You can take another step back, go to a weekly chart and ask, where is this level of moving average zone? Right now, it starts from 33 all the way up to 43. So if it's the history repeating, you are bouncing back into the moving average zone. Now you have some room to run. Even at that point, if you are actually observing the Bitcoin dominance, it shows you, okay, the RSI broke to the downside from that trend line, was a rising trend line all the way from last year May, and right now you broke that, you went to retest, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm getting rejected. If that plays out and Bitcoin is still going to $35,000-$45,000, that means altcoins are going to have massive rally in that duration. Bitcoin dominance is falling when Bitcoin is still going up, which gives you that clue that, okay, that's going to happen. Now, fine, let's look at the altcoin market. So when you look at the altcoin market, inside this pattern, yeah, you are here at the bottom close to the support. So if you are bouncing, now we need to break this pattern. But a break here in the short-term scenario gives you room to run for next couple of months. Now that can change things. So this is XRP BTC. XRP is slow right now, but you're looking at XRP BTC on a 3-day chart, gives you the understanding that the price went, hit this particular trend line resistance. You slowed down, but you are still above the 21-day moving average, and most likely you may bounce after testing this 21-day moving average. And with that bounce, what we really want is to break this pattern and move higher, because at that point you now have room to run to hit your big resistance. And that goes same with XRP Ether. We hit the resistance, we are slowing down, we may come back to test this moving average and then bounce back higher. Last time when we did this here and the moving average was crossing to the upside, we came back down, but at that time the RSI was here. Right now the RSI broke above that and it is coming back to retest that range. If we get a bounce in the RSI, most likely we are going to go much higher than Ether and BTC. So that kind of gives you the idea that the market is showing you something interesting. And the market is really choppy. So you kind of go look at last 1 week and you're like, okay, there's a lot of coins which are doing fine. And if you are looking through the first 100, next 100, you're like, okay, just 1 week, we have a lot of coins doing just fine, right? Now, what does that actually mean? We're not in a bear market, at least we are moving out of a correction. So from that corrective zone, when you're moving out, you get some of these coins bursting. This is Quant, right? It's a fundamental token. We talked about Quant and highlighted that, okay, now this is like a little bit older chart, 20 days back. We were highlighting, okay, we are going to bounce. And as we break through this, we're going to reach 91, 92 level, just below 93. Fine. Right now, you go look at the same pattern. You're like, okay, fine. The price actually broke that particular level. You went higher. Fine. You're laying this one. This was your resistance. You broke that. You retested that. You bounced. Fine. What happened? The price went to 92.5 and then slowly right now is correcting back. It's like, okay, the chart kind of showed you there is a resistance. So you went up to that level. Now this is short term. So anyone short to medium term has a higher target, and I've already plotted that in the Patreon. It's there. Anyone who's having medium term targets, it's much higher compared to this patterns as it's playing out based on the volume, how it is playing out. So you get to see the volume here. This is the current liquidity, around 700,000 in buy and 500,000 in sell. So you now know which direction it's actually moving. Fine. So in a similar way, inside this market, you have a lot of different assets which are doing fine, holding on and showing we are going to go much higher. And to get into those posts, if you really want to get into those posts and understand, like, okay, I have an opportunity here, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now, if you are looking on the fundamental side of this, there's a lot of confusing stuffs happening. Fine. If these guys were completely manipulating the commodities market, what makes you think they are not manipulating the XRP as an asset? They went in for Ether. They thought it's going to be bigger than XRP, but we all know it's nowhere close. With that scalability issues, the fees and all those stuff happening with it, we clearly kind of get that perspective. Okay, this is happening right now. And I was actually going through looking at this document and I'm like, okay, that doesn't actually look good. Now, we've been talking about this, like, okay, they paid out a lot of their loan. It looks really good. You know, a company is trying to at least come out of this. And then we are watching this one and I'm like, what's going on? Right. And at the same time, you kind of get this narrative being pushed in, where, you know, Kim Larry kind of gives you like, okay, crash potential. There is a huge possibility that this can actually go down. And I'm like, okay, what makes you think like that? And if you are going through that and talking about that, there is a lot of issues. But at the same time, you get to see, like, okay, Sam was actually highlighting there are a lot of empty products. Now, if you understand, this is why I always say, look for an asset class which is just starting out, like crypto. Great. Within that, look for assets which has a utility. Say, you can go to a small cap, medium cap, large cap, whatever you want, but there should be a product built into the market, or at least a product just gonna come out, and they are the developers, they're highlighting you, we are doing this, this is the stage, this is our timeline, it's gonna come out. Now, that's a little bit risk there, but the assets where the products are already in the market and the people who are using that, or if you can use it and you feel like, okay, that's a strong product, that's a good thing to buy. This goes all the way back to Peter Lynch. If you go to a grocery store and you're regularly buying something, most probably that's at a good price, that's at a good quality, then the stock of that company should be a good buy, because you're buying that every day. You know that the product is good, the price is fair, most likely the stock price is also the same. So if you find the price is cheaper, that goes like, okay, that's on sale, because you're buying the product. Fine. Similarly, if you are using Xrp for your cross-border payments, or any company which is using Xrp for that, that's a huge buy. This is one of the major reasons why I'm so heavy on Xrp. I'm here in South Korea as a immigrant, and I'm actually sending money back, and while I do that to India, I'm using Xrpl partners, who now, instead of charging me $100 fee, they just charge me $2.5 or $5, depending upon how fast I need. If it's like instant, I pay $5. Now, $90, $100 and $5 is a huge difference. So you know that they are solving a pain point. And I'm taking you guys to this one from there. This is coming soon. Within the next 6 months, we are going ISO 20022. There will be countries like US who say, we're going to be slow. Fine. But on the other side of this, you get a lot of other countries moving ahead, rushing through. There will be a bottleneck for sure, but as you're getting out of that bottleneck, it's going to be a burst. And why am I highlighting this ISO? It's coming so soon. Now you don't have much time, and then you kind of get this one. I'm like, okay, that's actually really huge. Really huge. I don't know how many of you actually get that correctly, but if you are looking through this, some of the use cases of Overledger, you need to understand Overledger's positioned as an interoperability layer, like the Interledger protocol. So you have Interledger, now you have Overledger, both of them getting real adoption, especially if you are looking at Overledger. It's like a lot of European banks are working with Quant doing that. And I'm coming back here, I'm like, okay, they are showing Overledger, Xrpl and Xrp Ledger. Overledger, Xrpl and Xrp Ledger. So it's literally at the bottom. When you read through what it has been put out, I'm like, okay, that kind of gives me an idea. Then to do settlement with Xrp. Okay. So that means the interoperable layer for messaging is actually great. So they can enter and exit any ledger. But for the settlement part of this, we're going to use this one, which Xrp Ledger. Now, why is that? We are going into their website, looking at what they are doing. Fine, okay, they are looking at all this stuff. They are trying to build that interoperability into the market and all. You get that point, fine. Now, what is the actual issue? They are trying to do all this interoperable stuff, but it's built on Ethereum. We know the issue there, it's not scalable. If you really want to push through that level of payments, one, it should be scalable, two, the friction should be so low, the payment fee associated with that should be teeny tiny bit. But on Ether, you rarely get that. And if you're going on scale, don't even imagine that you're going to get that cheap transaction. That's where Xrpl actually comes into the picture. And right now, with majority of the governments going CBDC, and in the next couple of years they are entering. Remember, we are talking about CBDC from last 2.5 years, and we are now closer to that. A lot of small countries are already jumping in, and we have seen pilot programs where they are doing it with Xrpl. So now when you come down, there are people who understand, okay, this is cheap or transaction using this one. So now you are going to see like, okay, they are talking about this. They are now trying to understand what it is, and it shows you like there is going to be a lot of positive stuff. Now, there has been a lot more FUD about Xrp and its decentralization, but those who actually tried to understand what it is, they understand, okay, it is adequately decentralized. When you are considering Cardano and others, it is really decentralized. Now we are like, okay, the initial thesis of my investments, it's actually reinforced. It's not changing. It's only getting better and better each day. And the price is going down, down, down. So is it a good opportunity, or is it just the market going to zero? fine. If the fundamental is the same, market can be rational. That's what I've understood in all these years. It can drop. Maybe it will drop 99%. We had scenarios where coin dropped 80, 90, 95%, and then went all the way up to 100, 120x. So even if your average is higher, you still make 20, 30x by the time it's stopping. Now, you don't get exact top, exact bottom, fine, you still make 20x. That's not a bad deal. Inside that 120, yeah, if you wait dollar cost averaging, you will get much more. But if you didn't, you still make a 10x for the minimum, right? That's how the market works. And if you want these kind of updates for all these assets which you have, you can look at the Patreon, where we drop charts like these, where you get to see, okay, this is a potential, and as you break out or retest, you can enter into that. Because you look at this, you broke higher, you can be either a breakout trader, or it came back for a retest. You can be buying the retest guy, and then it actually goes back to your target. It's all up to you. And if you want that, you can really have a look at it. Now, guys, if you are receiving value for your time here, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. And if you're looking forward for another video like this, you can actually jump on to these. It's going to give you a lot of information about the market and how to stay relevant in the market. So guys, that's it for now. Bye-bye.